Hey guys, welcome back to Bibliophile Reads. I'm Courtney and you're joining me for another weekly reading vlog. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. I do bookish videos, reading reviews, e-reader device reviews. If you're returning, thanks so much for coming back. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers. I really love to hit that mark. So if you like my content, subscribe. It's free. If you want to do more, you can be a member, and be sure to share this channel with your friends if you think they will enjoy it. Last week was the last week of the month and I did not do a reading vlog. In all honesty, I started one and I just never picked up the camera again. It was kind of not a busy week, but it was just kind of like I wasn't doing too much book completion. And after Monday, I didn't record anything else. I just kind of let it go. But I had started last week reading The Grandest Game. So I'll talk about the 3 books I read last week and talk about what I'm reading now. So I picked up The Grandest Game right on the release date of the 30th. Yeah, and I started reading it, but I knew it was going to be my first book done in August. So I did finish that. This book follows, well, it's in the universe of the inheritance games, but it's a totally different group of people. So in this book, Avery Grams, who basically the whole inheritance games is based around her and the puzzles, and the Hawthorne brothers are holding sort of a contest, almost like a Charlie and Chocolate Factory golden ticket type of contest, where people come to this remote island, they're figuring out puzzles. The person who wins gets a huge sum of money. I want to say it's like $26 million or something like that. And so each player is picked for different reasons. They're teamed up and they have to go through figuring out the puzzles. I ended up giving this a 4-star, I want to say. I thought it was good. I feel like nothing's going to compare to the inheritance games. It was so good when I read it the first time, and so I keep looking for that same sort of feeling, and it's just not happening. Like I said, it was good, but it wasn't great. I wasn't really sold on any of the characters. There is a little bit of romance-ish between, who is it? Is it Knox? No, it's the other one. Yeah, Grayson and one of the girls. And I kind of felt like somehow, not protective, but just like it's not a good fit. Like, it's not a good fit. But I'm still going to stay in this world. So even though I didn't love this book, still a 4-star for me. And I like to be in a series, so I'm going to continue with this. And then the next book is The Games Untold, and that is a part of the Inheritance Game series. So finish that one. Then I was looking for a book and ended up finding a couple books that I had forgotten that I purchased. One of them was this one, The Only Game in Town by Lacey Walden. I did finish this book, and I think I gave this one 2 stars. But this book follows Jess and Carter. Jess lives in this small town. She has her entire life. Carter's coming back for his grandfather's funeral. The grandfather lived in this town, was really good to the townspeople, gave money, gave of himself, and his final sort of hurrah is that everybody in the town has to play this game and they get money. Now, I can't remember, now that I think about it, maybe this is the book that they get 26 million? Or this one, they both got money at the end. So reading them back to back, I was kind of like, oh, okay, this is a lot. This one, I just could never catch a groove on, and I ended up skimming like the last few pages because it just didn't hit for me. I went into this thinking that it was going to be like a romance in the sense that Jess and Carter were going to immediately be partners in this game, and that doesn't start off that way. And so from that point on, I was kind of thrown off. The book is written through different perspectives, and again, this could just be me because I thought it was just gonna be Jess and Carter, but then we had like almost every main character had their own chapter, mostly Jess and Carter, but every once in a while another person's perspective would come in, and that would throw me off. It was also written in a weird way, so definitely not my favorite, but I think this could be some people's jam. I think if I had read it in isolation away from the grandest game, I could have liked it more. And I also think if I had less preconceived notions, I would have liked it more as well. Then, I don't think I have it up and open, but then I went and finished, oh yeah, Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. And I had picked up this book maybe mid to late, here it is. Nope, that's not it. Mid to late, I returned it, that's why it was on Kindle Unlimited. I'm probably picked it up mid to late July and was just doing some light reading with it because I had kind of read 15 books already in July and I wasn't really like trying to finish anything, but if it happened, it happened. And I started Curvy Girl Summer and I immediately liked it. I was just not in a rush to finish it, but I did finish it this past weekend and I gave it 4 stars. This book follows our 2 main characters. The main girl is Aaliyah, and she is a bigger bodied individual. Her sister, Amaya, was like the golden child, married, kids, slender, the whole 9 yards. And as Aaliyah's 30th birthday is coming up, she's feeling pressure from her family to not only date but lose weight and like really start caring about that side, especially her uncle, who was borderline abusive in the tones that he used with her and the way he spoke to her and the way her parents did not jump in like to help her. That's a whole nother story. So that part I didn't love. But anyway, she decides that in 8 weeks, her birthday will come, and at her birthday party, she will have a date. She tells everybody in her family that she is dating somebody. So she starts going on something called Tinderfish and starts meeting these guys. Well, there's a guy that, like a family friend's son, Ahmad, who works at a local sort of bar. I picture like a bar, restaurant, lounge thing, and she would bring the dates there, so he would kind of watch her back, make sure there was nobody crazy. Of course, Ahmad and Aaliyah are gonna have some feelings as time goes on. The reason this didn't get a 5-star, because it was really well written, was that Aaliyah was going on dates, and I swear this chick went on like 8, 9, 10 dates, and we sat through every one of her dates. I don't feel like we needed to sit through every date. I feel like we could have breezed over or given like a chunk of time, but it was like week by week, every Friday she was getting a date, and I didn't need to see the fallout, because what would happen was she'd meet the guy on Tinderfish, they'd spend the whole week talking, then they'd meet in person, and they'd make some comments about her weight, and then it was over. And that was literally every date that she went on. And then this is a romance, so I don't want to spoil it, but I think we already know the 2 main characters will get together, and Ahmad and Aaliyah do start a romance, but like 79% into the book, which is way too long for me. Some people do love a slow burn. I'm not one of them. And this was a slow burn. However, when they got there, those scenes were top tier, very steamy, very well written, and so that was that. So 4 stars, quality book. Definitely would recommend her as an author. I was surprised to see that book on Kindle Unlimited because it's brand new, but it was there. So currently, I am reading Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I heard about this book on, was it Olivia Reads a Latte's channel? And it just sounded good because this book is about a bank robbery gone wrong, and we are listening to everybody's perspective of what happened at the robbery. And everybody's a little quirky, so we're getting interviews with each person. I'm on page 92, and there are just about 330 pages, a little bit more than that. And it's going good. I think the best part, the chapters are short, and it's kind of humorous. And so I'm going to finish this up hopefully in the next couple of days and then get to reading some other things. I did stop at the library yesterday because my youngest had anime club, which is new. She loves anime, and she was there, and so of course I was there, and I picked up a couple books. So I don't know which I'm gonna read next after Anxious People, but my goal is to read my library books first since they have a due date. And if you check out my video that came out on Thursday, you'll see my August TBR. It's very lofty, so I want to be reading more and more. My goal is really to take less screen time and more time to just devote to reading. So the two books I picked up at the library were Disorientation and Break to You. So Break to You is brand new. It's by Neil Shusterman, Deborah Young, and Michelle Nolden. Neil Shusterman wrote the Scythe series, which I absolutely loved. And this is another sort of sci-fi book. And I don't know much about it except that two people have the same feeling that they're going to meet. Adriana and John, they feel like they're going to meet. They don't know how they're going to meet, but they have to meet to do something. And so I'm kind of going into it blindly on purpose. And that's all I know about this book. Then as I was sitting, because I was really only there to pick up that, well, and Faybound. I picked up Faybound, but I'm not going to read that this week. I was there for Faybound, and I found this one. But then while I was sitting, I saw Disorientation, and it pulled me because it's pink, and if it's pink, I'm going to immediately gravitate towards it. But I read the inside cover, and it sounds really good. And this book basically follows a student. She's Taiwanese, and she has been doing a dissertation on some Chinese artifacts. And as she's uncovering this, she starts to learn more about herself and the way she interacts with white people as a woman of color. And so I just thought it sounded interesting because she's in one spot in her life trying to finish up her PhD, and everything kind of combusts as she gets to know herself and more of what she wants. So I really want to read that book too. But I'm trying to think, that's really all that's going on this week. I had a couple of really good books that came out on the Kindle that I'm excited to read, but I'll just take those one by one. And if you want to know what they are, check out my TBR so you can see them. But other than that, that's kind of what's happening today and this week. I am going to go read more of Anxious People and try to get another 50 to 60 pages done before I go to bed. So I will check in tomorrow. Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Hopping on to give you some updates. And I do have some. So today, I live in Minnesota. It's a monumental day. First of all, the weather was beautiful today. But secondly, our governor, who's amazing, has just been picked as the VP running mate with Kamala Harris. And I'm excited and nervous because if they win, like, Governor Walz is so good for the state of Minnesota. So woke up to that news. I had to do blood work today. And I really put this off for like a year. Then finally, I went in today to get my blood test, and I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I was just like on pins and needles waiting for the results, but they were all good. And so this is your reminder to go to the doctor, get your stuff done. It's better to know than not to know. I actually had a family friend pass away this past week, and I hadn't seen her in a few years, but she's still amazing. And she's only 38. And, you know, I always wonder, like, could something have been prevented? And so I just want to do the best for my healthcare. So I told my sister, I was like, go get your blood work done. So anybody else who's watching this is your sign if you're waiting. And then I just have a regular work day. It's so funny because most of you guys know I work from home, and I usually have like a blurred screen on or like a green screen that looks like an office. And so a couple of times in the past couple of weeks, my coworkers have been like, is that an American Girl doll behind you? And I'm like, oh yeah. Then I'll blur my screen and just show, but I do have two dolls back there. Little known fact on this channel, but I have another channel. Usually I comment on my booktube friends on this channel. It's just Courtney Hill. And that was originally my daughter Kennedy's American Girl doll channel. If you go back like 6-7 years, it's her doing like American Girl doll reviews. And then she kind of got over doing the videos, but like I got obsessed with American Girl dolls and really loved them as an adult collector. And so I have a whole other channel that's all about adult collecting. I've kind of paused that channel right now because I couldn't do that channel and this channel. And this one was more important to me because it's more of like my own interests. And I really had hit a max with American Girl doll stuff because it's so expensive, but also we had everything and like running out of space. So most of our storage that we have right now, like we pay for external storage, is American Girl doll stuff, and it's crazy. So it's funny that people have been seeing this recently and like, what's going on? So I have to expose myself about my collection. Okay, nobody cared about that. Let's talk about what I read. So today I did finish Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. I think I marked it 4 stars on Goodreads, which I'm also using Fable. So let's talk about that after this. This book is about a bank robbery gone wrong. And when I originally read the cover, I'm thinking it's a book all about the pressures of anxiety and people dealing with anxiety, but it's not that at all. It really is a satirical book about different people in a situation. It's almost like a Seinfeld episode in a book, right? Everybody's kind of doing their own thing, interpreting the same situation a different way. But the twist at the end was really good. This book is translated. I don't know. Let's see. The author is from Stockholm, Sweden. And so the book is translated. And so I don't know the intentional way it was written, but the way it's written is very like narrator style. But it was really good. I do recommend this book. It got a little bit, well, it took a little bit to get into it. I'll say that. Like around the 140 page mark, it started picking up steam. So you have to get past a good chunk. There are some things in here that could be trigger warnings for people. They talk about suicide, and guns and robberies, but it really is a comedy. And I think they did make a TV show out of this, where I could see this on screen or on stage. It was really, really good. And then I decided to start another book. I'm using my Kindle for the next book. And I did, let me talk about Fable. So Fable, I had joined Fable a while ago because one of the booktubers I follow, they do book clubs on there. But I recently saw somebody else talk about Fable, and you can also track your books on there. And so what I liked about it is that they have like monthly breakdowns and just better statistics than Goodreads. I'm always going to be faithful to Goodreads. I love Goodreads. That's not changing, but it was good to use Fable as well, and I'm interested to see how this month ends up. The only issue I had with Fable is that it asks you to import, like you can import your Goodreads data as well as your Kindle data. Sorry, blanked out there. And my Fable data showed 5 less books, well, like 10 less books than I had read on Goodreads, and that really messes me up because I have like 106 books read out of 100, but at this point, Fable was not showing that. It was showing less than 100, and that really irritated me because I have met my goal, and so I need to figure that out, but I haven't dug deep into it yet. So that's Fable. I think it's worth downloading if you're interested. So I did get a book from Libby, You with a View by Jessica Joyce. I haven't started that yet, really. I guess I'm like 1% in, and all I know is that there is a picture of a grandparent or something on a road trip. Okay, a granddaughter finds a picture of her grandmother and a guy, and it was her belief that the grandmother's husband, so the granddaughter's grandpa, was the only guy that she'd ever been with. So to see a picture of her grandma with another guy is very suspicious. So she posts the picture on like Facebook or Instagram trying to find out who that person is. And so that's totally where I am. However, I was going through my ebook daily deals and saw a book that I wanted to download. It's a nonfiction book. It's called Hi Honey, I'm Homo. It's by Matt Baum. and it's sitcom specials and the queering of American culture. And I thought this was going to be interesting. It's only like 200 some pages. It's a quick nonfiction recap of how sitcoms have infiltrated sort of the cultural space for the queer community. And so we're starting with more subversive examples like Bewitched. So we're starting with Bewitched and how, you know, as the mom being a witch or the wife being a witch, you know, we're introducing different tropes into the households of America, right? And like going from Leave It to Beaver to the Munsters and like changing the dynamic. And so the first show they talked about sort of like in the intro was Soap, which I don't know if people watch this show, but it was like, I was young when I saw it, but I remember watching Soap, and I didn't know that Billy Crystal's character in that show was gay. And that was one of the first sort of out gay people on sitcom TV, and there was like some feedback, and obviously people were upset. And so it just kind of goes from there. So I just thought it was interesting. If you all are new here, my work is set in equity, diversity, and inclusion. And I think it's important to understand all identities and the intersectionalities they play with each other. So I was excited to pick this one up, and it was at Libby on the Libby app. So I just got that right away. So I'm kind of reading that because it's a quick read and informational. So that's my main focus. But my book of the month club books did come in today. So it's so exciting. I should also pick the next library book too, because that needs to happen. Okay, so maybe I said this on Monday, or maybe I said it in my wrap up or TBR. One of the videos I recently said that these books are books that I definitely want to read, but it probably won't happen this month just because my TBR is ambitious. There's a lot going on, and I have library books I need to get to. So these are just sitting and waiting. So the first book that I picked up is The Wedding People. I'm a little mad because this is bent. My book is bent, but it's fine. Things happen in transit. But this book is the book of the month pick for August for me. And I picked it just because I didn't really see anything that was standing out sort of like last month. But then this ended up being, again, the book of the month for Barnes & Noble. So I guess I picked good. But this says, a beautiful day in Newport, Rhode Island, when Phoebe Stone arrives at the Grand Cornwall Inn wearing a green dress and gold heels, not a bag in sight, alone. She's immediately mistaken by everyone in the lobby for one of the wedding people, but she's actually the only guest at the Cornwall who isn't here for the big event. Phoebe's here because she's dreamed of coming for years. She hoped to shuck oysters and take sunset sails with her husband, only now she's here without him at rock bottom and determined to have one last decadent splurge on herself. Meanwhile, the bride has accounted for every detail and every possible disaster the weekend might yield, except for, well, Phoebe and Phoebe's plan, which makes it that much more surprising when the two women can't stop confiding in each other. So I think this is going to be a nice women's fiction book. I'm here for it, just not this month yet. Then I finally gave in because I had been seeing it everywhere and picked up The Love of My Afterlife. I was hesitant about this book because I wasn't sure like if this was my vibe. But it's so cute that I decided to get it. And this is basically a book where a woman dies, and she's dying in front of a hot guy, apparently. I'm just kind of skimming the back because I've heard about this book too. And she is like in between worlds, right? Sort of heavenish. And she's offered a deal that she can return to Earth and reconnect with the mysterious man. Then she gets her soulmate and gets a fresh start. But she has to navigate a huge city to find him. And so it sounded cute enough. I don't like death stories or afterlife stories, but I've just seen this book everywhere. I think the cover is adorable, so I'm definitely going by the cover. And when you buy a book as an add-on for Book of the Month, it's only $10.99. Like, you literally cannot beat that. So here we are. And then the last book I got, because I am deep in my Kristen Hanna grind, is The Women. This also was an add-on, but I believe it was okay, February 2024 book of the month. I did not pick it. But after reading Firefly Lane, I was like, I actually love Kristen Hanna's writing, and here we are. So this book, as I understand it, basically follows a family. The son is drafted into the Vietnam War, and the sister decides to become a military nurse to be with her brother, something like that. Everybody says you're gonna cry. As you know, if you've been watching my channel, Firefly Lane was the first book I've ever cried with. Highly recommend the book. So I am looking forward to reading this. It should definitely be interesting. But those are my 3 books, like I said, that I got from Book of the Month Club. None that I'm reading this month. So I think the next book that I should read, maybe along with the, this Hi Honey I'm Homo, is Faybound, because it's it's a fantasy. And I also have a digital copy of this, and so I'm interested to get this kind of going. So I think I'm gonna do this one next. Let's see what happens by tomorrow. Anyway, this is a long clip for no reason. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey guys, and happy Wednesday. Hopping on real quick to give you a quick update on what I've read. It hasn't been that much since yesterday. Today was more of an in-person day with my job, and it is the last day before a vacation, some vacation time off to do fun things with the family. So I was like so kind of drained at the end of the day and just ready to chill, but also I was gone for a chunk of the day, so I haven't gotten to read too much yet. But as I said yesterday, I have picked up Faybound. This is a fantasy novel. I'm about 4 chapters in, and I can honestly say I have no idea what's happening, so I cannot update you yet on what's going on because I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I'm hoping to catch up pretty soon. So we will stay tuned and posted for that. And then I just wanted to show one other thing, and then that's kind of it for Thursday. I'm thinking while I'm on this sort of vacation that maybe I might hit a couple of local bookstores and just kind of feel their vibes, and maybe film that. So I haven't decided yet. We have lots of days off, so that might be kind of fun. But something I picked up based on Olivia Reads a Latte was this Aura Estelle by Annie Plan's Essential Weekly A5 Planner. And she was using this as a planner for her reading. And I'm going to do the same. And I feel like I have so many ways to track my books, but I'm here for it. So I think I might have shown this already, but so you have your days of the week, you have your open pages. I actually messaged her to say like what kind of pens you use because this paper is really, really thin. And she had mentioned she uses these, and they are 0.4 millimeter. They are the Pentel Intergel pens. I've never used these before, but I did just try to scribble something, and it was a good, nice, crisp write. So I will use that. So I think I'm going to do like a running record of what I read, and then the empty page for the week, maybe any finished books with notes or reviews. So that's my plan for that. So I would need to add Anxious People, because that's all I finished this week, and then we will see if I get Faybound done. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's moving along just fine. I just haven't caught on yet to what's happening. There's just kind of a lot of, I don't even know if it's world building, but sort of like scene setting. And so I just need to figure out what all of that is leading to. So that is it for Wednesday, super quick. But I will come back tomorrow with more updates. I'll have plenty more time to read. So that should be a better, longer update. Hey guys, happy Friday. Hopping on to tell you what I have read. I did not get on yesterday. Yesterday was the first day of our sort of staycation. And literally, I was so tired. We live in Minnesota. We went to the Mall of America. We spent like 4 hours there. If you've never been there, it's our large mall, has like 4 floors. We go often, but we have never stayed that long, and it was quite the journey. And then what else did we do? Me and my husband went to grab, we ate at the mall, so we went to grab like some snacks for dinner. That's like junket night and something else. Anyway, we did that, and then we watched shows together. It was great. Today, we decided that we were going to, what did we do today? We decided to go see a movie. We went to go see Despicable Me 4. I would not recommend, I would give it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was cute for what it was, but I think the franchise just needs to end. It's okay. But if you have kids who've been into Despicable Me for a while, I would suggest waiting until it gets on streaming. Then we did some fun errands. Went to Target, went to Ulta, went to Dick's Sporting Goods. And then we just came back from dinner at a place we've never been to. It's really close to us. It's a pizza place. Called Punch Pizza. And they're kind of like they're like a stone fire grill or stone fire wood fire pizza place. And it was delicious. It's literally down the street from us and we've never had it and it's so, so good. So had that and now we walked around Barnes and we're back home. So a very full day, looking for more fun things to do tomorrow. But I wanted to update you on what I read. So I did read more of Faybound. I'm now on chapter 12. Are we serious? Wow! So I got to chapter 12 in Faybound and I'm picking up more of what's going on. So basically we are following Yiren, Lettel, and I think that's it right now. There's a guy, but I can't remember his name. And Yiren started out the book. She's in a relationship with the queen of the kingdom she lives in. So we have some queer representation there. And she goes on this march of some sort and she breaks a law around kid drummers. From what I can understand, it's you're not supposed to save the kids or whatever. Anyway, Yiren breaks that law and she's supposed to be executed. And so she's ready for execution. Even though her lover is the queen, she's like, look, I know you have to do what you have to do. I messed up. Execute me. It's fine. But the queen is like, no, I'm not going to execute you, but I will exile you, which I thought was really grimy because they'd been in a relationship. So exiling me is not only am I exiled from this location, but you're essentially breaking up with me, which is just crazy. And so, yeah, I thought that was insanity. So anyway, she's exiled and she's being taken to, I don't even know where she's being taken to because we're kind of following Lettel, who is Yiren's sister. And once she gets exiled, Lettel tries to find where they're going to send her. Anyway, they both end up in a fae, running into some fae. And that's kind of where I am now. So I know part of the story is they go to this fae world and become part of this. But right now, the fae don't like them because they're human and there is beef between humans and fae. So I am liking it. It's a little bit slower than I thought it would be, but it's technically a shorter fantasy. I think it's 300 and some pages. So I'm really going to push through tonight and tomorrow to get it done. And this one is a get it done. I just want to see it through, but I do want to get it done. And then I also downloaded on Wednesday night or Thursday a chunk of books from Babysitters Club. It was the special edition readers request book. It was Logan's story, Shannon's story, and somebody else's story. And I picked it because I was listening in order on my favorite podcast, Stuck in Stony Brook, and they did a fun episode on Logan's story, but it was the hosts' partners that did it. So it was the three guys talking about this book from their perspective. It was amazing. The best part about it was they never even alluded to the fact that this isn't how it goes. They just ran right into the normal format. So that was great. But it was really interesting to me to hear about the story. And I thought I had a physical copy, but I don't. So I decided I would download the copy. And in this story, we are basically dealing with sort of early 90s, late 80s gender role stuff, where we have Logan being teased for being part of the Babysitters Club. I know in this book, Dawn's brother is getting an appendectomy and she has to leave. So Logan stands in as a full babysitter since he is an alternate. And so I just think it's going to be good. You can't go wrong. 19% in on that. What I thought was interesting is how he describes the Babysitters Club members. So that was something I really wanted to see. Hang on, because I highlighted more of my highlights. Chapter 3. Okay. I wanted to see how he highlighted and talked about each of the members. And he does pretty much what happens with all the members. Jesse's black, Mallory's white, Christy's bossy, Stacy's from New York, Marianne, he says he knows the best, obviously because that's her boyfriend. But this is how he describes Claudia, which was interesting to say the least. So it says, now on to Claudia Kishi, who has a small, manageable family. Well, maybe not so manageable. Claude's had her share of trouble dealing with her sister, Janine, who has an IQ that makes teachers drool. Claudia used to feel incredibly inferior and thought her parents were playing favorites with Janine. But even though Claudia is just an average student, she's an amazing artist, and the rest of her family has begun respecting that. It's about time, too, because Claude can draw, paint, sculpt, make jewelry, and clothing. And then it says, and eat. That's her other main talent. She's a junk food maniac. I think she could survive on ring dings and Snicker bars for weeks and never complain. You'd expect someone like that to have weight trouble, right? Guess again. Okay, that's foul, but this is where it gets good. Claudia looks like a model. She's really slim with long jet black hair. Her skin is perfect, and she has these gorgeous almond-shaped eyes. Horrible. Her family's Japanese. She also has a really hip, sexy way of dressing. Okay, time out. Let me say right here that I'm just describing. Marianne is my girlfriend, but that doesn't mean I can't say positive things about someone else's looks. Logan, wrap it up. We're done. We're done. I was like, what is actually happening? Why are we describing her like that? Like, if I were Marianne reading this entry or something, I'd be like, what's happening? Do you like her or what's going on? So yeah, anyway, so then I went to Barnes, as I said, and it was time to renew my membership, which is $40 a year for the membership. I totally think it's worth it. I know that I have gotten more than $40 worth of rewards back, and I buy a lot from them. I know they're more pricey than like Amazon or something, or even a smaller bookshop, but I just like the vibes, and I'm gonna continue to like the vibes. So I picked up my new tote bag. You get a new tote bag every year. So I picked up this one, a bag of books in this little color. And I do use tote bags quite a lot, whether it's for library books or carrying extra stuff. Then I picked up two books that I had my eye on. The first is Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. Now I did read Done and Dusted, and I was like, okay, it's all right, but it's just very country and not it. But now I'm kind of sucked in, so I got to kind of find out what happens in the next one. They're pretty short. They're like 300 pages. It's not going to hurt me. Something fun to read. And then I picked up Peking Duck and Cover. This is Vivian Chan's newest book in the Noodle Shop Mysteries. And I was pricing this because obviously I do a lot of Kindle reading, and I always want to have the best price. This book is the same price in paperback and Kindle. And so for me, cozy mysteries are just a little bit better to read in hand. I don't know why that is. It's so funny how some things are better in hand and some are better on the Kindle. So I don't know. That's just what I'm doing. So I don't have a plan for reading these yet because I have so many books to read this month. But my plan right now is to finish Logan's story like tonight because it's so short. Continue to read Faybound and then include another book. I'm thinking Jackpot Summer as my next book to include in my reading. So that's what's happening tonight. I think I'll continue this until tomorrow and update you on not only what we did, but what I read. Okay, see you guys later. Hey guys, happy Saturday. Welcome to the last day of my vlog. Popping in to give you an update on my reading. I only finished one thing yesterday, and that was Logan's story. This is a reader special request book that's all from Logan's perspective. I ended up giving this 5 stars, I want to say, or maybe 4. But the story was okay, kind of boring, very rooted in like gender roles and stereotypes. But I gave it a high rating because I just think the idea behind it is great to have different perspective stories, and especially to hear Logan's take on the babysitters and sort of like what he's dealing with. So I gave that a high score. And then I started on the Jackpot Summer. Now I had gotten this book a couple months ago and did a softie enough of it, and I still am not really catching a groove. I'm maybe about 20-25 pages in. And this first chapter is like 30 pages, which is already a turnoff for me. So we'll see. I'm going to give it a little bit longer. And if I don't, then I'm going to pivot to something else because I don't want it to slump me. And I feel like between Feybound this week and now Jackpot Summer, I'm not finishing a lot. So I finished Anxious People and I finished Logan's Story. And that's about it. So I want to make sure that I'm reading things that I really am pushing through. I didn't read much of Feybound at all yesterday, and I didn't miss it. So we'll see about that one as well. But you'll have to stay tuned for next week to see what I dive into and what I will start to read if I have to soften up some other books. So that is everything I read this week and did. I hope you really enjoyed the vlog. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Subscribing is free. If you'd like to join a membership, I have options for there too. And don't forget to share. I found some really great booktubers recently, and it's all just from recommendations. So feel free to share my channel. We'd love to continue to grow our community. As always, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.